To open up the meeting. First off, we're going to, after I call a vote, I'm going to have a roll call. Tony?
Here.
Maya?
Here.
Dory? And Amanda can't make it. I'm here. Like the recognition of the live stream available online at www.westwoodk12maus/live to promote real-time public access to the activities of the school committee. I want to thank the Westwood Media Center for helping us organize all of these things. I want to welcome everybody and thank you for showing up at a short notice. First off, we're going to have a discussion item, planning for the superintendent search process. And what I'd like to do is just, I've talked with everyone on the school committee. I've got a lot of valuable feedback in from Emily on some of the steps we'd take. And I'll just kind of outline some of these and then have a discussion. First off is getting a consulting firm. Emily suggested some firms that are very busy. There's 10 towns looking for superintendents right now. So it's very competitive and we need to get started. But I've asked Tony and Maya if they take the lead and maybe identifying possible candidates to bring before the school committee to choose a search firm, getting what they do, what they could possibly do, what their prices would be. And I'd like to maybe have Dory offer advice. She's very active in human resources herself. And maybe you could offer your support and help to Tony and Maya, Dory. But I'd like to just get a little discussion on that topic. Dory, Maya, what are your thoughts are? And I know that Holly will be helping out identifying contact people, phone numbers, and all the rest.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. I think the first step, as you mentioned, is for us to engage a search consultant. And Tony and I are in the process of reaching out to a few that have been recommended to us and setting up calls and requesting proposals from them. So as soon as we have those proposals, we will be reviewing them and then coming back to this group, with our recommendation, hopefully a go ahead with one of the firms. At that point, we expect to start forming the search committee, which will be made up of a number of individuals. We will certainly include parents and teachers and administrators and town officials and school committee members to the extent we can. I think we're going to hold off on announcing the specific makeup of that committee until we have a consultant on board and can talk to them. But, that would be the next step, is starting the search committee, getting the search committee formed, and then really just getting the posting up and out there and sort of moving the process through there. But again, once we have that search consultant on board, I expect we'll have a much more robust process in place.
Thank you. I got 4 steps I'd like to go through each of these. Thanks, Mayor, for getting into some of them already. The second is the job posting. The central office, Emily, has a lot of experience with job postings, and they're going to take a draft of what a job posting would look like, give it to us to approve, make some changes, but that will be done by the central office. Emily, is that all right if you do the first cut at that?
Well, I thought what I'd do, so we have certain language that we use on many job postings that describes the community and the school system, talks about our commitment to equity and diversity, things like that. And then I have a job description for superintendent that I think was the one that was used for the search process when I was hired. So I thought that I would provide those materials to you just as a starting point. I think a consultant also could help with that process as well. But I just thought, to have something to start from.
That'd be great. If you get that out to us, we'll offer comments and we'll work that one up. The committee itself that Mayor mentioned, we've got some suggestions. I think it's a good idea to get a consultant to give us some advice as we do that. But these are just some possibilities that have been suggested. First of all, what I would like to do is appoint Mayor and Tony as co-chairs of that committee. They're the most experienced school committee members. They've been worked with a lot of these groups, and it's nothing against Dory and Amanda, but we can only have 2 people without having a public meeting. So they would start off as co-chairs. I'd like to ask for the central office for help. It's been suggested that we consider a couple of people from the central office who would be on that committee. Possibility of 2 principals at least. The possibilities of teachers, elementary, middle, and high school. representing general ed and special ed. Somebody from the town hall, I'd be happy to call the Rob Gotti to get possibly a select board member or somebody from the town of Westwood. Two parents, possibly people active in the PTOs, but that we could either ask for public input or recommendations people would like to make, but that's been suggested. Other people, I've already got a call from Brian Kelly, a former school committee. He said he'd love to volunteer. People have suggested possibly Joe
Yeah,
Seppa.
Brett, just point of order, Mr. Chair. I don't think we should be mentioning specific names
Okay.
at this point in time. Just a point of order.
That's fine. I think
I
people
think it's
will be
important that
start-
this be seen as a process that's fair, that's actually not, that's seen as a community process, that actually is
Yep.
inclusive of our different stakeholders, whether they be teachers, staff, obviously
Yep.
central office, and we shouldn't be mentioning specific names.
I'm sorry, I agree. I think these are just suggested groups. Also a student on the committee. So that's something we need to work down. How we might choose these people and who might they be. The recommendation is following this committee coming up with recommendations for 3 or 4 people that we would then have public meetings before the full school committee in the interview process of the candidates. So that's a rough agenda of the topics, the order that we would take them in, and any input again would be appreciated along this line as we go through each of these stages. And any
Yeah,
other
so-
things?
Yeah, just a couple other thoughts, just for people having, I guess, gone through this once. It's hard to believe. I've been on that long, right, Emily?
Right.
But so basically, long story short, you're allowed, and we should make sure we're aligned on this. You're allowed to have the whole process confidential up until you get to the final 3. It doesn't have to be 3, but let's just say 3 hypothetically. At that point, so it will be a very confidential. Once we do that, at that point, it's a public process. And then, and we won't get into all the details, but they come to site visits, the school committee will interview them, so forth and so on. So that's just want to make sure we're aligned on that. And then the only other thing I'll say, I think the other piece just for community members, beyond the committee, right? The committee obviously will be only so big. There will also, the search firm will engage the teachers, staff, focus groups during the kind of the month, probably during that first month, as well as parents to a bit understand what they think the next superintendent should be. I think we want to move, the other things, I think we want to move as fast as possible. We'll find more guidance from the search firm. That ideally, I think, we'll see what the timeline is. Ideally, we'd love to get to, I think, the final 3. I don't want to throw out a date, but I would love to get it before February vacation, and then after February vacation in early March to kind of have the site. But we'll see what they say. But there's a lot of competing searches, so it's just going to take a lot of time from obviously people on this call. So, but that's there will be just people in the community. There will be, even the search committee will be obviously not huge, but there will be opportunities for other people, both teachers, staff, as well as parents to participate in the focus groups as well. So more to come.
Thank you, Tony. Anybody else, any add-on or things we should be considering in addition to this? Well, thank you for everybody's input into this. Emily, thank you for all your advice and help. I'd like to move on to the next item, action items. Anybody have a problem with us moving on? One of these we would like to do is to appoint somebody to replace Emily on the Tech Board of Directors. I've been asking around who might be interested. Dory has volunteered to sit on that seat until the end of this year, and then the school committee would consider other people to possibly represent Westwood or the Tech Board of Directors. I would like, anybody else have any other thoughts on it? Or does anybody have any questions about my appointing Dory to be our representative?
Well, I think, do we need to vote on that?
Often Charlie appoints liaison assignments, but I think since this is a board of directors voting role,
Yep.
Much like in the past, you appointed me your voting member, I would recommend that you take a vote.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dory Parmalee to the Tech, as the WPS representative to the Tech Board of Directors.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
I think you
Aye.
need to do a roll call.
Okay. Tony,
Aye, yes.
Mayor,
Yes.
Dory. I'm aye.
Oh, Dory, you're
Okay.
muted for some reason. We can't hear you.
We do recognize hand motions, though. Anyway, Dory, thank you for representing
you.
us, and we'll reconsider at the end of the term, get your advice on choosing somebody else. Is there any new business to be considered today?
I would just
Okay.
mention that we are launching the Student Services Director search. And Amanda, who couldn't be here tonight, has offered to be the representative to that process. There's no shortage of things to volunteer for here, and so we are spreading out the assignments, it looks like.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
I'll take a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Tony,
Yes.
Dory? Mayor?
yes.
I approve. Anyway, thank you for getting together on short notice. Emily, thanks for helping to set this up. Thank Holly. Everybody have a great night. Talk to you